Good morning, students, and welcome back to the class. Today, we'll be continuing our lesson, the human body. Okay, and today we'll be moving on into the respiratory system. Okay, so the respiratory system consists of group of organs that help us to breathe, and they are nose, windpipe, and lungs. So we have three organs that help us to breathe. So they are nose, windpipe, and lungs. So first we will talk about the nose. So we breathe in and breathe out through our nose. When we breathe in, it's called inhalation. And when we breathe out, it's called exhalation. Tiny hair and mucus, sticky substance are present inside our nose. The hair filter the air we breathe in and prevent dust and germs entering our lungs. Mucus also traps dust and germs. So we have tiny hair and mucus, isn't it? That's present in our nose. So these help in preventing the dust and the germs from entering our lungs. Okay, so can you see in the picture? Yes, so this is how we breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so next we're going on to the windpipe. So from the nose, the air passes through the windpipe and enters the lungs. This windpipe is around 4 inches long. So it is around 4 inches long. The windpipe stops the dirty particles from entering the lungs. So not just the tiny hair and the mucus that is present in our nose, but also this windpipe helps in preventing the dust particles or any particles from entering the lungs. Okay, so can you see in the picture here, children? Yes, so this is the windpipe. From the nose, the air comes through the windpipe and it goes into the lungs. Okay, now let's talk about the lungs. Our body has two lungs. Okay, so lungs are located inside the chest cavity, one on each side. So when we spoke about the heart, we came to know that the heart is only located on the left side of the chest cavity. But the lungs are present on either side of the chest cavity. Okay, so oxygen is inhaled in the lungs inside and the carbon dioxide is exhaled outside the lungs. Okay, so the air we breathe has more of oxygen and the air we exhale has more of carbon dioxide. We already learned what air we breathe in and what air we breathe out in our previous lesson, the living things and non-living things. Okay, so this is how our lungs will look on the inside when we breathe in and breathe out. Okay, now we're moving on to the diaphragm. A dome-shaped sheet of muscles called the diaphragm is present below the lungs. So your lungs are above and this diaphragm is present below your lungs. So when air is inhaled, the diaphragm contracts and it moves downwards. And when the diaphragm expands, it pushes upwards and it expands. Okay, so this is how the inhaling and exhaling happens. So can you see in the picture? Yes, when you're breathing out, it expands. Okay, so now how does breathing take place? The diaphragm contracts and moves downwards. So the diaphragm contracts and moves downwards. So your chest cavity expands. Air from outside, that is oxygen, it rushes into your nose, into your lungs through the nose. So this is called inhalation. Now, the diaphragm relaxes and pushes upwards and the chest cavity decreases. So, air from the lungs containing carbon dioxide go through the nose. So, this is called exhalation. So when you breathe in, your diaphragm contracts and moves downward. So your chest cavity increases, and the air we breathe in, that is the oxygen, goes from our nose through the lungs. Now in exhalation, the diaphragm pushes upward and the chest cavity decreases, and the air comes out through our nose in the form of carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is how breathing takes place. Okay, so now let's move on to deep breathing. You know, there can be few exercises in deep breathing and how you can always have a healthy respiratory system. Okay, so deep breathing is a simple exercise which ensures that more oxygen is taken in during inhalation. It is practiced during yoga and meditation and any form of exercise that we do. Okay, so what are the advantages of deep breathing? So deep breathing, it helps to get rid of harmful toxins in our body. So we also have few toxins that are in our body which is not needed. But when we do this deep breathing exercise, it removes or gets rid of from our body. It helps in reducing anxiety and stress. So this helps in relaxing your body and it helps to remove all the stress and anxiety that you have. Okay. Then it helps to relax your body and mind. So it helps very importantly for your mental and your physical health. So you're calm and you have no stress. Okay, so always make sure you do your breathing exercises in the morning or whenever you can find time. Okay, so what is the process of deep breathing? So there are few steps that you follow when you do the exercise of deep breathing. So first you sit on a comfortable mat, slowly take in a deep breath through your nose. Let the air completely fill your lungs. Let your belly expand by a few inches. This will allow the lungs to expand fully. Next, try to breathe out fully and the belly should go in so that the air is exhaled totally out. So your deep breathing consists of you sitting straight, breathing in fully. Make sure the air reaches the lungs, your belly is little poked out, and then when you're breathing out, make sure your belly goes in completely and you're bringing out all the air that you breathed in. Okay, so this is about deep breathing. Okay, so let's recap on what we learned today, the respiratory system. Okay, so we breathe in air, we breathe in and breathe out air through our nose. And when we breathe in, it is called inhalation. Very good. And when we breathe out, it's called exhalation. Okay. The tiny dash sticky substance are present inside our nose, the hair and mucus. Okay, the hair and mucus filter the air we breathe in and prevent dash and dash entering our lungs, dust and germs. Very good, children. Okay, moving on. From the nose, the air passes through the dash, the windpipe, and enters the lungs. The windpipe is around dash inches long, 4 inches long. Okay, very good. The windpipe stops the dash from entering the lungs, the dirty particles from entering the lungs. Okay, moving on. Our body has dash lungs, has 2 lungs. The lungs are located inside the dash cavity, one on each side, the chest cavity. Very good, children. Dash is inhaled inside the lungs. The oxygen is inhaled inside the lungs. Dash is exhaled outside the lungs. The Yes, carbon dioxide is exhaled out. Okay. The air we dash in has more oxygen. The air we breathe in. Okay. And the air we breathe out has more of, very good children, carbon dioxide. Okay. Now we're moving on. A dash-shaped sheet of muscles called dash. Okay, a dome-shaped sheet of muscles called diaphragm is present below the lungs. The air is the dash, the air, when the air is the dash, the diaphragm, when the air is inhaled, the diaphragm contracts and moves downwards. And when the diaphragm dash, it expands and pushes upward, the air gets exhaled. Okay, so that was what we learned today, children. So make sure you go through this video again and we will meet in the next class. Thank you, children.